gorgeous souls. Welcome. Welcome on this Saturday night. Just uplifting each other. So welcome Facebook, welcome Instagram. I'll give you a moment to come online. Super Faster. Hello, welcome. If I've never seen you on the feed, please tell me your name. Tell me what brings you here. While I take a moment to create sacred space. Creating sacred space, calling people who want healing, who are ready to transform, ready to jump outside your comfort zone, ready to look at your shadows, ready to bring some miracle. There's no judgment. There's just an uplifting moment together, connecting whether here live or during the replay, so that we can uplift each other, send healing, and create magic whenever is needed. It's done, it is done, it is done. So let's see who is live. Hello. So tell me your name. I don't think I've seen you before. I'd like to know, hello Jolie. I'd like to know your names, where you're tuning in from, what have you got planned for this Saturday night, if it's night wherever you are. Well, we keep on calling more souls. And today I just want to know if you're feeling the energy of the new moon coming through, the energy of the sun in Gemini. I know a lot of you are Gemini. I know a few Gemini. So if you're watching, how does it feel for you? Let's take a moment to type. I've got some cards with me from the Dennis Lin, the Sacred Traveler. Why the Sacred Traveler? I think summer is approaching and it's a very good time to start using that full energy of the sunshine, of bubbling things up, and traveling often comes up in summer. So let's see where a Sacred Traveler is taking you. So who wants to type in what's been going on? And maybe while I let people join, I'm going to read you just a couple of things from Yasmin Boland about the new moon. So the new moon is on the 3rd of June and is a new moon in Gemini. And what is Gemini? Gemini is symbolized by the twins. You know, for me, before I go into what Yasmin Boland is saying, the twins is duality in a sort. You know, there's and specifically in the story in mythology of Castor and Pollux, one was human and one was God. So it's really the two opposite things, but they're united, they're linked together, so that energy, that force that is showing us, you know, two sides of the coin sometimes, and it may seem like black and white, but we're very much always united. So when, you know, Gemini is involved, I always say it's asking us to consider whatever situation we're facing, whatever situation we're looking through from different angles. Yes, Gemini is also very quick-witted. It's all about our way of thinking. Is ruled by Mercury. Mercury, we know, is our communication, our thinking. So it's, in a way, again, it brings attention to how do we think, how do we articulate our mind, how do we express our mind, and most importantly, which word do we use? So it's during the dark moon, it's a good time to start reviewing, maybe, the sense, how do we use our mind and how do we articulate it? What are the words that we're using? And if you've been with me for a while, you know that this is going to impact our reality. So just look around you and see your reality is going to very much reflect the words you've been using and how your mind is structured. So, you know, if you feel that you're worried all the time, then this is going to come up in your reality. if you spend time gossiping all the time, this is gonna show up in your reality. And this is the moment where you could say, okay, I'm gonna stop for a moment and I'm really gonna pay attention. What is my thinking? Where is my, you're gonna start to bring mindfulness. Where is my mind? Where are my thoughts going? And when you realize where your thoughts are, how do you express them? Which words do you use? And sometimes I play this game. I'm somewhere in a public place and I start to pay attention to what people say. And often there is a word that always comes up in a sentence, and I don't know anything about what they talk about. I don't know the circumstances, I don't know, but they keep saying the same words. And that's going to show up in their reality. So if they're moaning, maybe something not so fantastic is going to show up. If they're uplifting, again, this is going to have a big impact. So the new moon in Gemini, Yasmin Volan says, if you wanted to make a sentence from the keywords for this week's new moon, it could be use your mind, Gemini Mercury, which is what we're talking about, to turn your life around, Uranus, because Uranus is very much in the mix here. The new moon this week takes place just ahead of a lovely link between Mercury and Uranus. Saturn and Neptune are also approaching an alignment, peaking June 18, but already in the ethers, which is perfect for making dreams, Neptune, real, Saturn. There could even be some second chances coming up since Saturn is retrograding at the same time. However, note that some effort could be required to see through the Maya or illusion to the truth, since the first alignment that the moon makes after the new moon is a clash with confusing Neptune. Hello, Eva. Hello, Basitra. If you'd like to type in where you are, what's your name? Eva, I guess your name is Eva. What you're doing on a Saturday night, and if you're feeling the new moon coming. We're talking about the new moon. The annual new moon in Gemini is also the perfect time to think about how you're thinking, right? Good thoughts lead to good action, which lead to good karma. I'm going to say that again. Good thoughts lead to good actions, which lead to good karma. And I'm going to add good thought leads to good actions, and also to good words, which leads to good karma. Thinking positively is not about pretending everything is okay when it's not. We all need to process stuff, but we need to process it and then release it. Yes, I hope it makes sense. So good thoughts, good word, good karma, right? I think we're very much familiar with that, the law of attraction. This is what always comes through. That said, the dark moon, the dark phase, the new moon, the dark moon, is also time to look at the shadows. It's also time to look inward. So that's what I was saying just a minute ago. If there is something in your reality that you're not too happy with, then you could go in and look within and see what is it. Maybe where are you focusing your attention? Maybe there are some parts of you that are not so positive. And I don't want you to be positive, but I just want you to be aware what's dragging your attention, in the shadows. What is that facet of you that maybe is not so clear? And through bringing awareness, then you could release it. Now, remember, Gemini, as I say, is ruled by Mercury. Sometimes Mercury is a trickster. Mercury was the messenger of the god, but he's also the one who stole fire. So that could be, like I was saying in the book, that could be some illusion there. So this is a very, very good time to look at that. Hello, Michael. How are things on the other side of the world? We're talking about the dark moon. Are you feeling the dark moon or not? So I hope that was informative. If there is, great, fantastic. If there is Anything that you want to share, let me know. Michael is in a good mood. That's good. Even though we're talking about the dark side. So let's see a card from the Sacred Traveler, Denise Lien. I absolutely adore Denise Lien. So let's see what's coming up. Hello, Sandrina. I really like you guys to share your name, if I don't know you, and where you're tuning in from, if I don't know you. And what have you planned for this Saturday night? Sandrina, your name, could it be Brazilian? Fellow travelers. So this card is a beautiful card. There's a traveler. I said we're approaching summer. Summer may be about traveling, visiting other countries. And this card is saying support is all around you. So I don't know if there is, I'm going to show it on Facebook as well. If somebody that is watching here or the replay that needed to hear it. So Michael, is that you? Bike ride. Did you feel a bit lost or did you feel maybe tired? If you did, this card is encouraging you and is saying support is all around you. Does it make sense? As you can see, the world is opening up. There is this beautiful peacock. Peacock for me is a sign of luck. So I would say by starting an adventure and you travel, putting yourself, you know, on the road is going to bring something new and some luck. Sandrina, you're Brazilian, aren't you? Roadkill yesterday. What do you mean, Michael? What do you mean? Sandrina, eu não falo português, so we're gonna need to do something here. Really, Michael, I hope you're right. But this is the card. Support is all around you. Wiped out. Oh my God. So how are you today? Okay, so look at the peacock and draw the energy from this card. There is also a beautiful rainbow. Rainbow leads to treasures. So where is yours, Michael? That's a hint. Look at this card. For me, it says luck and treasure. Good. Good. All right, so for me, Saturday night is not about, or at least not this one, going out and you know, being out and about, and it's about reading. And I started to read this book, Our Ancestors from the Stars. So if anybody here feels a big call from the stars, from knowing more about where we come from, I really recommend it. And I've not tuned in so much. I like to tune in into the cosmos. I like to tune in into the sky, what's going on, the planets, but I haven't really tuned in into our different galaxies where we could be coming from. So if anybody's familiar with that and wants to share, just let me know. Yes? Peacock, illumination, yes. And also Peacock is all about shining, and it's all about, when I say shining, making yourself bigger, making yourself beautiful, right? And it serves a purpose. So one more card for the road. Nina, hello, welcome. We're talking about the dark moon in Gemini. Some people may experience duality. Some people may experience that there is something that needs to be looked at. Maybe some Uranus was next to the moon the other day, and I said you may have some emotions coming through that were not expected, so you may still be processing. And of course, the dark moon is a wonderful time to be processing. It's a wonderful time to do release work. So if there are something that you've been aware of that you're not so happy about in your life, this is a good time to let it all go. And I was saying at the beginning of the video, if you missed it, you may want to watch it. It's Gemini is an excellent time to start looking at our mind structures. How do you do that? Through mindfulness, through stopping and paying attention to what's going on in your reality and paying attention to the words you're using. So because the way you think and the way you talk, it's manifesting in your ordinary reality, let's say. Yes. So one more card. So if you want to type in what you're working on, I'd really like to hear from you. Otherwise, it gets very lonely here. I know Saturday night, probably a lot of you are going out and you're going to watch the replay. Hello, beautiful Eva. You're not out, are you? You're preparing for the dark moon, I guess. So, one more card. Solitude. In silence, peace prevails. So this is fantastic card for the dark moon. Yes? At home relaxing. So this card is what it's just said Saturday night for me during the dark moon is not about going out, right? It's about staying in, spending time maybe with a book, spending time with yourself, spending time in meditation, and in silence, peace prevails. Because I feel great card for today. Yes, I feel we're constantly bombarded by messages, right? We're constantly exposed to noise. We're constantly exposed to sound, and silence, it's a bliss. And for me, I started to notice that I'm really longing that silence. Even when I was in Tuscany, some places there was a dog barking, chicken cuckooing, whatever you say the word, so it's nice to hear nature, but sometimes you just want silence, nothing there, right? For me, I very much like the sound of the water, but that's still a sound. So in silence, at the beginning may feel uncomfortable because we're not used to it, but you'll see that the more time you spend in silence, and meditation is that as well, unless you're doing visualizations or guided meditations, then you start to really appreciate that silence, because in silence, you find peace. Can you feel the energy already? I stopped talking for a nanosecond. Yes? And when we're in silence, this is when you can plug in the divine matrix. So when you're in silence, if you are working on something, you're not too sure about something, you want to go right or left in a decision you're taking, silence, it's going to allow for that answer to come through. It's going to allow for you to plug into the divine matrix, and it's going to allow for you to process that information, expand your intuition, and do all sorts of fantastic things. So a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card for today. Does anybody wants to comment on that? While we all enjoy a moment of silence. See if anybody wants to comment. Do you tend to spend time in silence or not? And even though I said Gemini is all about communication, the words we're using, we can communicate by being silent, by being in silence. You could be with a loved one and hold hands and not say anything. And that's communication, right? Okay. Eva is saying, I treasure silence. Yes, especially if you have kids. I think silence, it's even more appreciated, right? Sometimes I like to wake up in the middle of the night and the cars are not going by so much and everybody's asleep, the house is asleep. It's a beautiful experience. All right, one last card before we call it a night. You're so welcome, Michael. One more card. Let's see. Who wants to hear what? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Much love to all of you. Spending some of your Saturday with me. It's really quite nice. Maybe one day I should try that, to have a silent live Instagram and see what pops up for people. That's a challenge. Try that. Not yet. Okay, ascending the mountain. We really have beautiful cards today. Ascending the mountain, keep going forward. So I think this card, again, is going to speak very much to one of you, whether here or on the replay. Maybe you've been pulled backward a little bit. Maybe you're not too sure where you're going. And this card is saying, keep going forward. Yes. And yes, it looks, you have to go high a little bit, but there's still some flowers. There's still some beauty around you. And the mountains are so majestic, but when you reach the top, you're gonna be really on top of the world. So if you felt, or if you're feeling not too sure what's going on, maybe this is the time to, let it all go. This card is saying, keep going forward. And this ties really much with this one, the traveler, that says support is all around you. So again, maybe you started an adventure, maybe you were full of enthusiasm, and now something happened along the way, you're not too sure. And this card is saying, look around, the beautiful peacock, the rainbow treasure. And this card is saying, just keep going. It might look like you're alone. It might feel like, the path is not straight and you have to go up. So it's going to require some effort, right? But it's also going to bring you peace. So on this road, as you can see, you may feel a bit lonely, but treasure that. Be in that silence. Be with yourself, because peace is going to prevail. And when you reach the top of the mountain, you're going to feel amazing. Spring Chicks, hello. I don't know if you're still here. If you want to tell me your name, where you're tuning in from. So I hope this was helpful. I know we talked about the dark moon. We talked about Gemini. We talked about traveling as a metaphor. But I think the message here is really support is around you. And for me, I'm going to share, for me, support today came in the form of great sunshine. For those of you who are in London, the weather was so amazing. So even though the energy, I feel it's very intense at the moment. And as I said, there may be some challenges. Uranus and the moon may have brought some emotions that you didn't even know were there. There could be some things you're trying to process and you're not feeling support. Maybe you're wondering why you're starting down that road. But for me, today, the support was the sun. It was a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to stop and spend some time in silence. I didn't know about this card yet, but just letting the sun shine through. And for me, that was beautiful. And also when I sit in the sun and I meditate and I close my eyes, I've got all these beautiful visions, colors, visions that are always very uplifting. So, support could be anything. Just take that time for you to say, okay, I know support is around me. In what shape is it manifesting? Be grateful for that support and then keep going forward. I think what you don't want to be doing at the moment is to feel stuck or is to feel not too sure and freeze. This card is saying silence. And yes, silence, you slow down for a moment, but that doesn't mean you're stopping whatever road you're taking. You can redirect yourself, but keep going forward. All right. Gorgeous souls, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, Instagram. If there is anything, as always, just keep posting on the replay and I'll get back to you. Lots of love. Namaste.